Nizam Ezekiel, he was born in the month of December 1924. He was an Indian Jewish poet. He was also an actor, a playwright, editor, and art critic. So these sentences are incomplete when you look at it through the grammatical aspect. But when you read the poem, you will really understand the emotion of the poem. So the speaker is finding it hard to speak English. But what is he doing? He is somehow managing his emotions with the English language. Hello students, I am Anil, Assistant Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to look at the poem Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa by Nizam Ezekiel, prescribed for the students of B.Ca 4th semester. So in this module, what are we going to do? In this module, we are going to look at about the poet and we will go through the poem and summarize it. So here is Nizam Ezekiel. Nizam Ezekiel, he was born in the month of December 1924. He was an Indian Jewish poet. He was also an actor, a playwright, editor, and art critic. He was a foundational figure in the post-colonial India's literary history, specifically for Indian poetry in English. This man is well known for the Indian poetry in English, how Indian poetry is shown through English. The use of English language and the contents are Indian. So how did this man make poetry very interesting in English language? He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1983 for his Latter-day Sains by Sahitya Academy, India's National Academy of Letters. Then, Ezekiel enriched and established Indian English language poetry through his modernist innovations and techniques, which enlarged Indian English literature, moving it beyond purely spiritual and Orientalist themes to include a wider range of concerns and intersects and interests, including familial events, individual angst, and skeptical societal introspection. So his poetry is somewhat filled with the emotions of India. He has concentrated on the use of English language to express the Indian culture and India's society. So the poem is about a man who is trying to wish a person happy journey. But what does he do while doing it? Goodbye party for Miss Pushpa. So here the speaker is introducing the person who is going abroad and he is telling it like a speech. So how he is going to say, friends, our dear sister is departing for foreign in 2-3 days and we are meeting today to wish her bon voyage. So here this man introduces that they have gathered. What was the purpose of? The purpose was here their dear sister is departing to foreign. She is going to foreign and he is using the word departing. He is using English language to express Indian emotion. So how does it sound and what is the meaning that it gives becomes the comedy of this poetry. So he says, our dear sister is departing for foreign in 2-3 days and we are meeting here today to wish her bon voyage. Going from here, you are all knowing, look at the use of language. How does it sound and what does it give? What meaning does it give? We are all knowing, friends, what sweetness is in Miss Pushpa. I don't mean only external sweetness, but internal sweetness. This sentence is really a meaningless sentence when you speak it through English language. But when you take it in the Indian meaning, the native emotions, when you consider the native emotions in the sentence is actually true. But what about the use of English language? Then, Miss Pushpa is smiling and smiling. The poet has tried to imitate the common people of India speaking English, of which they have considered speaking English is of a status, social status. Miss Pushpa is smiling and smiling, even for no reason, but simply because she is feeling. So these sentences are incomplete when you look at it through the grammatical aspect. But when you read the poem, you will really understand the emotion of the poem. But what is the use of English here? How is the use of English here? Miss Pushpa is smiling and smiling. He is trying to express that she is too happy, or she is always with a smiling face, even for no reason, but simply because she is feeling. This sentence has a contradiction of both a positive note and a negative note. But with respect to the occasion, we should take it in a positive note. So, even for no reason makes this sentence a comical one. Miss Pushpa is coming from very high family. In order to say she comes from a respected family or a dignified family, he uses the word she comes from a very high family. So how does it fit the English language? Does it fit the English language? No. But the reader can get the emotional connection with this sentence. But this is grammatically wrong. Her father was renowned advocate in Bulchar or Surat. He expresses that his father, who comes from a high family, what the poet says, or the speaker says here, he recalls his encounter with her father. Her father was renowned advocate in Bulchar or Surat. I am not remembering now which place. So he digresses from the main event of wishing Miss Pushpa T.S. bon voyage. So he digresses. When he digresses, he goes to the story of her father. Surat, yes. So he recalls, oh yes, it is not Bulchar or Surat, it is exactly Surat. Once only I stayed in Surat with family members of my uncle's very old friend. His wife was cooking nicely. That was long time ago. So he digressed to Surat, then his family members, then his uncle, his friend, his wife, and food. This is what we Indians generally do, isn't it? We don't stick to the topic. When we are telling the main story, we bring in too many sub-stories. So here he digressed a little bit, and this gives a comical interpretation or a comical break to the poem. Going on, coming back to Miss Pushpa. So now he recalls and he remembers, oh yes, I'm talking about Pushpa. Coming back to Miss Pushpa, she is most popular lady. She is a popular lady. Yes, this gives a good meaning. But what about the next sentence? With men also and ladies also. So here, he could not control the language. So he remembers that something is wrong with the sentence. And then he tries to make a good sentence. But what has happened here? Miss Pushpa is the most popular lady with men also and ladies. Whenever I asked her to do anything, how is the behavior of Miss Pushpa? Whenever I asked her to do anything, she was saying, just now only, I will do it. That is showing good spirit. I am always appreciating the good spirit. So the speaker is finding it hard to speak English. But what is he doing? He is somehow managing his emotions with the English language. Pushpa, Miss is never saying no. So here, Miss Pushpa becomes Pushpa Miss. So is never saying no. Whatever I or anybody is asking, she is always saying yes. And today, she is going to improve her prospect. And we are wishing her bon voyage. Now I ask other speakers to speak, and afterwards, Miss Pushpa will do summing up. So this man turned a congratulatory occasion to that of a speech. Miss Pushpa is never saying no. Whatever I or anybody is asking, she is eager to respond. That is what he meant. She takes care of everybody is what he wanted to say. But what happened here? With the use of language, which he was not familiar with, he uses all these sentences to make the occasion very funny. Today she is going to improve her prospect. She is going abroad and we are wishing her bon voyage. Now I ask other speakers to speak. So he has considered other friends as speakers. The occasion has literally changed to that of an official one where there are speakers and listeners. Then he finally says, afterwards Miss Pushpa will do summing up. Now he has considered Miss Pushpa to be the president of the occasion. And finally he says she will do the summing up. Actually she would say thank you for the people who were there. But this man, while speaking, while expressing his emotions through a language which he was not familiar with, he changes the mood of the entire occasion to be something else. And finally he says, she will sum up the entire speech. To sum up, in this poem, Nizam Ezekiel has used a character which is Indian, but he is trying to speak his emotions through English language, where people considered speaking the other language, which is not of their own, as a social status. So when somebody uses such language to express their emotions, what all things are going to happen? How an important occasion becomes so funny? He has tried to explain this. So he uses English where he was not good at to express his emotions, and finally, the poem comes out to be a comical one. So, keeping this in mind, we will meet up in the next class. Thank you.